Oren sold another slice of toast on a stick and made note of it. That was his 149th slice of toast sold today. The number seemed low. He was still used to packaging thousands of bananas a day back in the factory. Then again, he definitely wasn't getting 75% of each sale for those bananas. With all his number calculations, he was just now realizing that he'd never once stopped to consider how little of each sale of a packaged banana was coming back to him. Not half, not a quarter, not a tenth, was it even 1% of each banana? Oren got distracted when a woman came up and bought some toast on a stick. Oren checked the time on his phone. It was almost 4 o'clock, so Blue should be back any second now. Sure enough, right on cue, he came strolling down the pier, carrying several bags of sliced bread. "How's it going?" asked Blue. 150 slices of toast sold today," said Oren. Blue cocked an eyebrow. "I don't get it." "Is that not enough?" asked Oren, worried. "I just asked how's it going, as in, how are you doing?" "Oh," said Oren, nodding despite being more confused now than before. "Well, business was pretty steady, except for—" No, said Blue, raising a hand to stop Oren. "I'm not asking about the cart. I'm asking about you. How are you doing? Personally." "Oh," said Oren. I'm fine, I think." "You think?" "I'm fine," said Oren. "Are you having problems at home or anything?" asked Blue. Oren hesitated. Did Blue know something? "The usual stuff," said Oren. "Pregnant wife, a robot took my job, never enough money." Oren gave an uncomfortable laugh. "So it's money," said Blue, and rubbed his chin. He reached a hand into his pocket and pulled out some bills. He thumbed through them before placing a few back into his pocket and handing the rest to Oren. "Here's 100. Hopefully it helps." Oren wasn't sure how to react. Of course he was happy to have the money, but who just gave money away like that? "I shouldn't take this," he said. "It's fine," said Blue. "Trust me, you need it more than I do." Blue paused and glanced around the pier. Then he looked back to Oren. "There is one thing you could do for me, though." "Of course," said Oren. "You said a robot took your job, is that right?" "Yeah," said Oren. "Excuse me," said a woman standing in front of the cart. "Could I get 2 pieces of toast on a stick?" "Absolutely," said Oren, and handed the woman her order. $5. The woman paid and left. "I was wondering," said Blue, "if you could describe what that robot looked like." "What it looked like?" asked Oren, confused. "Yeah," said Blue. "Tall, short, square, round, silver, brown." "I didn't see what machines they put in the factory. They just told us we were being replaced. Why'd you ask?" Blue paused a moment and glanced around the pier. "There's a particular robot I'm looking for." "Well," said Oren, "if you're not careful, there could be a robot looking for you and your job. Just wait until they have robots out on this pier. Robots with built-in toasters." "We can only hope, right?" said Blue. Oren scrunched up his forehead, wondering if Blue was serious. "Well, it is 4 o'clock," said Blue, "so I can take over here." He opened up the side door on the cart and gestured politely for Oren to step out, which he did. "Blue," said Oren, "I have to ask, why toast on a stick?" Blue hesitated a moment. It just seemed like a thing people would buy, like pet rocks or something. "And when did you figure that out?" Blue laughed. Again, you with all the questions. Blue crouched down inside the cart, presumably to put more bread in the toaster. When he came back up, he spoke. "Tell you what, let's go out to dinner one of these days. I'll skip my shift and we'll go. Just let me know when." Sure. Yeah, of course, that sounds great. Should we exchange phone numbers or something?" "No," said Blue. "I don't have a phone. You know where to find me, though, right?" Blue laughed. "Alright, sounds good. I'll see you tomorrow then, I guess." Blue nodded and Oren left with at least as many questions as he came in with. Oren opened his door with caution. It wasn't that he was sneaking in. No, he'd never do that. It was just that if Rhea happened not to be within eyeshot, he didn't necessarily want her to hear him coming in. Oren glanced around and saw no signs of his wife. He closed the door carefully and made his way toward the basement. He started counting the money on the way down the stairs, and so didn't see Rhea sitting in his chair. "Oh," said Oren, looking up too late. "What are you doing here?" "I can't go into my own basement?" asked Rhea. "Of course you can. I just didn't expect to see you here." Oren wasn't sure what to do with the wad of money in his hand. Was it better to just keep holding it, or should he stuff it into his pocket? "Now let me ask you a question," said Rhea. "Why did I get a call from our insurance today saying our plan was cancelled?" Oren thought about it and realized he had made one rather large oversight. Blue might be able to give him 75% of each sale, but he couldn't give him health insurance, and he probably couldn't deliver Rhea's baby for her. "There must be some sort of mistake," said Oren. "You can say that again. They told me that we lost our insurance because you lost your job. It must be because of the promotion and the paperwork. The system, the computer. What's with all the cash?" said Rhea. Oren didn't know what to say. "Oren, just tell me what's going on." "I'm selling toast on a stick." There was silence for a moment. "You mean you're not vacuum sealing bananas in plastic anymore?" "No," said Oren. He realized how all of this sounded. Placing toast on a stick and selling it out of your own cart was certainly a step down from taking a banana and wrapping it in plastic for a mega corporation. Ray didn't say anything for a while. Oren didn't know what to say. "There is one thing we could do to get the insurance," Rhea finally said. "I could marry someone else." "What?" said Oren. "It would just be a temporary thing. I would marry someone who has insurance, have Jules' birth covered, and then we could get married." "This just seems somehow unnecessary," said Oren, shaking his head. "But it is necessary," said Rhea. She placed a hand on Oren's arm. "Because you don't have money right now." Oren had a vague sense that this went against their marriage vows somehow, but he couldn't say for sure. "If you think we have to," said Oren, and trailed off. "But how will you find someone to marry on such short notice?" "That's taken care of," said Rhea. "I was kind of getting worried, so I figured I'd plan ahead." "You have someone lined up already?" asked Oren, confused. "Yes, it's all taken care of." Oren shook his head, trying to form words. "Who is it?" Rhea smiled. "It's probably best if you didn't know. I'll make it easier on you when we get back together. If you know who it is, it would probably become too real for you, whereas you should really just be thinking of this as me going on vacation for a bit." Oren nodded. "Will I at least get to be there for Jules' birth?" "No," said Rhea. "Only the legal husband can be there. We can't risk any slip-ups." "Can you film it or something?" "I'll be giving birth, but I'll see what I can do," said Rhea. "Well, I guess that's that, then," said Oren, and gave a laugh he hoped didn't sound too uncomfortable. "Well, you do have to sign the divorce papers. They're up in the kitchen." Rhea led Oren up the stairs to the kitchen and showed him the papers. Oren skimmed them over, knowing he didn't have much of a choice in the matter. He signed a few papers and then set everything back down on the table. "I guess it's official then," said Oren. "I'll also be moving out of the house," said Rhea. "That doesn't seem necessary." "We can't risk any slip-ups," she said. "Well, how much longer will you be here?" "Probably just until tomorrow. I'll leave while you're at work, selling toast on sticks." Oren didn't like the way she said that, like she was leaving him because of the job. But at the same time, of course that's what she was doing, because he no longer had insurance through his job. Well, like she said, all he had to do was think about this as a vacation where he'd miss the birth of his daughter. But maybe Oren could go to Vio. Maybe he could ask Vio to give him his job back, just for a few weeks until the baby was born. And if he didn't, no, Oren still didn't want to think about that, even though $5,000 would be enough to cover the cost of the birth. But still, Oren would visit Vio, that much he decided.